What's up, everybody? Big Herc 916 getting down with Fresh Out, and you tuned in to another Fresh Out interview. Man, it's been a minute because of all the drama going on in the world. We haven't been able to get anybody on the channel to do an interview, so we got our first interview back with the homie Mike from from the Bay Area, the Yay area representing. And me and him got a big common interest together, and that is cars, old school muscle cars. We're both fanatics, and we kind of connected through IG. So, holler at me through IG, but we connected, and it's a pleasure being able to be out here in Huntington Beach with him, chilling, for the weekend and enjoying this beautiful weather. So let me introduce the homie Mike, and why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself and where you're from?
Mike Escobar. Some people call me Frisco Mike because there's a million Mikes out there in the Bay Area, and I'm from San Francisco, born and raised. And I'm about that car life. I love the cars. I love the whip life. I grew up in the Mission District in San Francisco, 100% Latino, so I got that, that background. And me and Big Herc connected on the Instagram over the cars. We got that passion for the whips.
So what was it like when you were a young man growing up in the Mission? Because it's funny, because we were talking, and I went to school in Frisco, for a lot of you don't know, too, for a brief period, and I lived on Treasure Island for all you Bay Area guys. And I went to Martin Luther King Jr. High School up the street from 3rd Street. So he said he also went to school out there. So it was different, man. Frisco was wild back then, man. I mean, it was definitely not what these youngsters have out there today. But how was it for you when you're in your neighborhood growing up, man, in that environment?
Man, growing up in that environment was completely different compared to what it is now. Like, I go back all the time to visit my family, my pops, my sisters, they still live there. But growing up, I grew up in a very predominant Latino neighborhood, so I grew up around the lowriders.
Okay.
That's where my passion began as a kid, watching the lowriders with the hydraulic, cruise up and down the lowrider bikes. And I grew up in the height of the gang culture too, so there was a lot of that going on in the neighborhood. But what really got my passion in the cars was the lowriders. That's what really got me loving and addicted. I said, one day I'm gonna have one. I see them cruising up and down the Mission, 24th, and then one day I did. I started lowriding when I was like maybe 16 years old.
Okay. Were there a lot of hustling going on in the streets back then? Because I know when I was in Frisco, I didn't see too much of it, but I know kids used to have a lot of fancy stuff, man. And I was living on a military base, so I'm like, dude, how are these guys getting all the starter jackets and the Patrick Ewings and what back then it was the Magic Johnson and Larry Birds, remember?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Just like dudes were balling back then.
Yeah.
And I remember going to the Sunnyvale projects, man, and I'm like, damn, it wasn't no joke, man. But even back then, you could see things were going on in the street.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of people had their hustle. The dope game was real, and sometimes you see it in front of your face, sometimes you didn't. But some of those guys that had the real fancy cars behind the scenes, they definitely were doing some big things. And what's different now is it got really gentrified. A lot of hipsters moved in. I call them tourists. They're not natives. They act like they're San Franciscans. Like, no, you're not from here. What high school did you grow up? Where'd you grow up at? What hospital were you born at?
Yeah.
I ask people, oh, I'm from, that's right, you're not from San Francisco. Being out in Santa Rosa doesn't count as Frisco, man.
Exactly.
I be calling people out. What hospital? Yeah. Oh, no, that's not San Francisco, sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's totally different. I grew up around it. I think I love the era that I grew up in because it made me very aware of what's going on. You had to grow up fast.
Did you have a father figure or a male mentor in your life that kind of guided you, or did somehow you kind of get off track just trying to hang out with the homies, or?
Nah, but I did get influenced by the streets a lot. Got into a lot of trouble, as you know. Back in those days was a lot of gang stuff going on. Gang culture was at its height in the 80s and 90s, so I was around that a lot. My father worked 6-7 days a week just trying to put food on the table, so he wasn't 100% involved in my life, but he was, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
He was working all day. My mother had to take care of 6 of us, but she couldn't watch me all the time, so I was always out there being a knucklehead.
Yeah. I tell people, man, it's hard to say what your kids are doing all day, because I didn't really have a father figure, and my mom worked, but that little bit of time where you were in the streets, man, a lot can happen.
A lot.
Parents don't have no idea what's going on with these kids, man.
My mom tried. She knew I was up to no good. It's not that she didn't like my friends, it's just she knew the kind of crowd that I ran with back then. It was a really rough crowd. The street crowd, kids, and you had to have some type of heart to grow up in that era, because somebody was always testing you back in those days.
Yeah.
Always. It's back in those days, what I loved is we settled it with our fists. Nowadays, these kids want to kill each other.
Well, I remember even when I was going to Martin Luther King, which was also a high school, and dude, there were bullies, man. But I mean, dude, you had to deal with them.
You did.
There was kids like, you know, as a sixth grader, you had to deal with maybe an 8th or 9th grader, and you had to see this dude. And dude, it's like you said, man. You got to handle it, but wasn't no telling.
No.
You know, wasn't nobody telling on each other, man. None of that type of stuff.
No, we come from a different era.
Yeah.
There was no telling. You settled it up like men. If you got beat up, good. At least you stepped to him.
Exactly.
You got respect. And if you got even a punch or two off on him, people kind of look down on him like the bigger guy should have handled you. And sometimes the bigger guy didn't always handle you.
That's right.
It kind of gave me confidence. Because I wasn't always the most confident kid. I was a skinny kid growing up.
Yeah.
I played basketball, so I was always into sports, athletics, rode a bike a lot.
Okay.
So I was always a thin kid. But one thing is, I had my mother's temper. So once a kid got me there, I wasn't scared anymore. Once that came out of me, that temper, is like I lost all fear. It didn't matter how big they were.
Exactly. And it built character.
Yeah.
You know, it built character. I know on the base, I used to get in fights and deal with stuff, man, and it taught you how to stand up for yourself.
Exactly.
Which a lot of kids now, it's like, dude, they bitch out, man. It's like, dude, be a man.
Well, these kids nowadays hide behind social media, and they think they're tough when they're talking BS on that. Like, listen, man, that's not how we settled it back then. It was actually fun. You take your crew of kids, whoever you had beef with, that crew of kids, we made a park somewhere.
Yeah.
They just watch out, make sure no one jumped each other, and we settled it. And that was like fun. I wish we could have filmed that just to go back and laugh about it as kids.
I know we don't have. It's crazy. None of the video. I tell people, man,
Nothing.
If you could see some of the stuff, and like you said, biking out in Frisco, bro. We used to skateboard and remember Golden Gate Park.
Yes.
Go out there
Big
and freestyle and stuff. It was like,
that was fun.
We didn't have none of the. You know, you had a Polaroid and you'd hurry up and do a trick and try to take a picture before you fell or do whatever. But it's different, man. So we didn't have all the access.
That's one thing we did miss out on. I wish I had a lot of some footage that all the riding we did around the city.
Yeah.
You know, I had a BMX Haro.
Yeah. You know,
and let me tell you, let me actually rewind a little bit. Let me go back a little further. So I fell in love with cars at a young age. I told myself one day I'm gonna have one. But what really got me into the whole always going over the top customization, I had a Haro that my mother bought me, stock.
I remember.
I want to do Skyway mags.
Yep.
I wanted to do the pegs.
Yep.
I wanted to do the, I think it's called a gyro. We spin the handlebars.
You got the thing that spins so you can do the handlebars all around.
So I did that with some custom stickers. I did everything I could to customize, and that's where my madness. Fast forward to today, is I'm very extreme with my cars. I go over the top.
You're like me, man. I went and got one of my frame and forks. I got it from it was on I can't remember, but it's down the street from Martin Luther King or the bike shop. And I got it, and I painted it crazy blue, put the stickers on, like you said, got the pegs, got the like the hutch pedals with the crank,
and
customized it with all the stuff, and that's what got me into being different. I can never leave something stock. I always had to change it.
I'm the same way. I can't. I don't know what it is. I wish I could, but I can't. I can't leave it alone.
So what was the actual incident, man, that led to you getting caught up in the feds?
The actual incident was I was doing business with a guy. I was selling a lot of ecstasy pills at that time. Mid to late 90s, the height of it, the whole rave culture, techno,
was popping
house.
out there in the
city of San Francisco was like a
Berkeley
mecca.
is off the hook,
San Francisco was the mecca, was like the birth of the house music. It originally, techno started in Chicago, they didn't like it, it made its way back to San Francisco. The house scene blew up, the rave scene, I'm sure you remember, those underground raves, Oakland. I got introduced into that. I was always a bouncer security for nightclubs, and somehow I got pulled into that. Being a bouncer and a security guard, I met a lot of people. One thing led to another. Next thing you know, I'm in the E game. And then from that game, I met so many people at the clubs. I was always partying. That kind of blew up for me. Then I got into some really bad stuff, dealing crystal meth, you know, which I deeply regret to this day, because what it does to people is just, I wish I would have never touched it.
Yeah.
You know, and I had a friend that was very prosperous in the Wii game back then. He used to tell me, you're in the wrong game. You shouldn't play in that game. Something's gonna happen to you. You tell me, like, you should be playing with the Wii game. You can sleep better at night. Nah, I'm getting money. I was arrogant, young, cocky. You know, mid-20s. Thought I was balling out of control. I was in my own head like an idiot. And, you know, I did a deal or two with an undercover, and I quickly got humbled.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's what I get for not listening. I should have listened. But you know how we are. We're hard-headed. We have to learn the hard way, unfortunately, sometimes. Well,
you know, the thing is, man, you know, when the feds get involved, it's a totally different game. It's not like the state. It's like they got different. It's a different set of rules.
Yeah, and to say the least, I don't care how tough you are or who you think you're on these streets or how big badass you are. When they come for you and the amount of years they're talking, it gives you You're like, whoa. It's like when someone throws cold water on you, like,
Yeah,
like
knock the wind out of you.
Whoa. So you have to dig deep and be like, let me just relax. Let me talk to my attorney and go from there. Don't say too much.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys get spooked right off the back. They don't want to admit that, but they are freaked of
the
amount of time they're facing.
And they got tactics, bro. They isolate you, put you over here.
Yes.
You know, put you in a cell with somebody who's a rat. You know, motherfuckers
Yes.
trying to get information.
Yes.
All type of shit.
They do a lot of stuff. They'll try to get you in a room, make you sweat, scare you. And the minute you mention you want to talk to an attorney for your best interest, they get offended. They get mad.
Yep.
They start threatening you with yours. But one thing I tell people you got to understand is, they're not the judge and they're not the prosecutor.
That's right.
They're not the end all be all. You just have to talk to an attorney for your best interest. Don't ever make any deals. Don't talk to them. It's the best way. But unfortunately, people get scared. You know, it's just human nature. People are scared.
Yeah.
If you don't know what's coming, you're gonna get freaked out. It's like a sneak attack.
Well, it's like you play in one part of the game, like a lot of people are playing the hustle game, but if you haven't been trained on the other side of the game to where you get behind and get in the interrogation room,
Yes.
or deal with law enforcement,
Yes.
if you don't know how to handle that situation, you're done. It's like these guys are trained to get you to talk,
Yes,
or get information, and they can read body language.
They're professionals.
Professionals.
They're really good at it.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, you think these kids think they're big willie out in these streets and they're pushing big weight. Man, listen, our government take down cartels, man. They take down governments.
Yeah.
These guys are heavy hitters.
Yeah, no joke.
Feds come for you, they're not lightweights. That's
No
the
joke.
reason why they're coming for you. They want to squeeze you for something bigger.
That's right. So what ended up happening? What kind of time did you end up getting? Where'd you get sentenced to?
I ended up getting sentenced as 48 months
Okay.
at a San Francisco federal court. Shout out to my attorney. He was really good. I trusted him, and I felt real comfortable. Tony Serra was my attorney.
Okay.
He's a big-wig lawyer out in San Francisco. Some people know of him because of the Ghost House warehouse fire case. But anyways, so I ended up doing my time at Sheridan, 03 to 05.
Okay.
Just around 30 months.
And you know what's crazy is like while he was at Sheridan camp, I was at the FCI.
I know.
So it's like
I know.
It's a small world, man. That's why I tell people, you guys who go into jail and you turn into gumps, or you are pieces of shit, or you busting cheeks in there, it will come back on the street, man. It's a small world.
Yes, it will.
So, you know, I've ran across a lot of people that have hit me up that I did time and places with them, and we never had a conversation, but here we are on the street.
And it's crazy. When I got there, it was, I'm not gonna lie to you, I had been in North County Jail in Oakland. I had been in 850 Bryant, and when I got there, I was allowed to turn myself in. When I got there, and I'm walking in, and I go, this don't look like no damn prison, man. What is this? And I was like, nah, it's a prison camp. What the fuck is a prison camp? I was tripping, like, what the hell's a camp? I look around, I go, there's no guard towers, no nothing. This is a prison.
Yeah, you got lucky.
And that's what a lot of guys said, but I felt like I didn't like the guys I was in there with, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I wanted to go to a real institution and do my time like a man. That's what I felt like. I felt like that wasn't. But
well, you're kind of skating out of camp, right? Because of just the type of people you're around, watching what you say, what you do.
Yeah. So, everybody flies cop-outs and rats you out. The reason I said, and a lot of guys were like, just stay here. I had guys from FCI. I had one of my bunkies, he had done time at Leavenworth. And he's like, man, just do your time here. It's easy. There's no control movement. He goes, I know you probably don't want to be around these dudes. Because they're like chatterboxes, like little girls. I told my wife, like, I thought women were chatterboxes. Holy shit, these guys make up all these rumors that they're going to cut off, give us 4 months, good time, all kinds of rumors that fly in there. Man, these guys are like little girls in there. I couldn't believe it. Like, dude, just do your time. Guys come in with less than a year for something stupid. They got drunk on a federal land and got pulled over and doing 4 months, and they're whining about it the whole time. Like, there's guys that coming from doing 20 years and finishing off their time in the camp.
Yeah. It's like, and like for them, that's a blessing. I know
it is a blessing. That's what I was told. It's a blessing.
Well, the thing is too, like I went from a USP to an FCI. My points never got low enough to go to a camp, but I had homies that went to camps, man. And the thing is, you can meet people and network to a degree, and at least you ain't got to deal. Like you said, there's a lot of bullshit, but it's kind of prepping you to know that what you're gonna deal with on the street, because there's a lot of sucker shit out here too.
Yeah.
So by you having seen that, you kind of got a better perception of how to handle certain individuals.
Yeah, very true. And what I did is I try to like, not that I'm any better than anybody, because I'm considered a D-boy. That's what I'm in there for drugs. But I always went on the white collar guys, and I always try to pick their brains, the real estate guys. I was always trying to learn. And one dude, I don't remember his last name, and he was a successful white collar guy. I don't know his crime. And very quiet, kind of kept to himself. And I just said, hey, man, what was your secret to success? Like, what would you recommend? What advice would you give me? And something that stuck with me to this day. I even told my wife this. He always said, just hit base hits and the home runs will come. And I swear that just stuck with me.
Well, you know, I like your story too because, you know, we talked off camera, and I always tell people, you know, I turned shit into gold. And what I did in prison is, instead of like, you know, playing a lot of the games and you know, hanging out watching TV, I read, I studied like you.
Yes.
I wasn't able to get around too many white collar guys because of where I was at, but I did try to get around the guys who knew about real estate, guys about business, guys
Yes.
about just, you know, everything from, you know, whatever I can learn that was going to help me become financially successful when I got out, because I didn't want to work for anybody.
Yeah.
So, like you said, in your case, you went in there and you utilized your time so that when you got out, you were able to kind of make something valuable for yourself.
Yeah. I also became a personal trainer in there. They had I briefly had a course in there, and I said, okay, what am I going to do? What am I good at? What is my strengths? I love working out. I know they want you to get a job as soon as you get out or from the halfway house. And that's what I did. I got a job. And I was actually shocked. Like, wow, they don't discriminate against felons. So I got a job as a trainer. And then from there, I just started building up my clientele. I also had private clients that I did away from the gym. And then eventually I got around to the car stuff. And then I built up my Instagram page slowly but surely. Kind of got a head start on that.
And so, in retrospect, man, as far as if you're, you know, talking to somebody out there right now, because I get a lot of kids that ask me, you know, Herc, what is something I can do to kind of, you know, build my business up or build my brand up or, you know, become self-sufficient? What would you tell some of them guys, man? Because, I mean, we went to prison and figured it out, but, you know, they can figure it out without having to go there. What would you tell them?
Stay focused. Stay focused and be passionate about something you want to do and give it your all. Don't be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You're not going to make it in this life. Find something that you love to do. It's hard because a lot of people are lost. They don't know what they want to do with their life. They don't know what they're passionate. I would say find your strengths. It takes a little while. Like for me, I'm a talker. I got a mouthpiece. So I'm a salesman. I sell all day. That's what I do. You know, I can sell anything. I could flip a car. There's times where I don't have to be involved. I'll broker a car deal to this guy to this guy, and I'll just take my little cut out of it.
That's right.
So
that's actually what one of the things I was doing too when I got out. Once I got a little bit of money, I started working my way up off of Craigslist. Remember before Meekum and Derek got real popular, I would find like a car and like I had a homie in Texas, hey, go check on this car for me, make sure it's legit. Or find a car in Northern California, I have my homeboy go look at it. But yeah, man, it's like you said, you turn everything that you used to do in the D game into a legit hustle.
Yeah, because once, let me tell you, if these corporations these corporations knew how good we were at sales, they hire guys coming out of prison, D-boys.
That's right.
It's something about the game. You can't go to school to learn. You learn on the streets. And I was groomed in high school. I learned the game in high school. That's the funny thing. I started selling weed at 14 in high school. I went to Downtown High, which is kind of like the fuck-up school for everybody in San Francisco. Anybody get kicked out of schools for fighting, anybody come out of juvenile, they all went to downtown. That school was like a criminal school. I learned how to basically become a dealer there. Well, weed game, then I had a Mexican kid show me the dope game, like to get the powder and whoop, and then kind of just like, it's crazy because I went to the Tenderloin, hustled there, in the height of the Tenderloin.
Remember Polk Street?
Yes, in the height of and
Tenderloin, you get robbed over there.
That was scary. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was always
Tenderloin's gangster, bro.
I was always tense. My stomach was in knots, but I was out there getting money, just learning. It's like I was an apprentice to the streets, just learning, and it was scary. I was like, all right, you got to really put your big boy shoes on because out here's no joke. You could get killed, about the robbed. They don't know. It's still bad now, but that's more transients and dopies. But back then, you go into Tenderloin if you was out of pocket because they had a crew over there. Territories. You have to be careful. You have to watch out for the Cambodians. And you had to watch out for the Oakland and the Pittsburgh cats. It didn't belong to anybody, so it's kind of a free for all. It was kind of like you had to have your own people in there too to watch your back.
I remember one time we caught the bus on a field trip, and man, some dudes got on the bus and they were just checking like, homie, where you from? I mean, they didn't give a fuck. They were checking everybody on the bus, like, where you from? And if you said the wrong thing, they were just knocking dudes out.
Yep.
Just coming on the bus. I mean, he's a straight back in the day. Frisco, people might think one thing, but back in the day, man, them dudes is hitters.
Don't get it twisted. People think like, oh, Frisco's the birth of the gay movement. Sure, you can call anything you want. Frisco's this.
Mess around, get robbed out there.
It's very, very watered down now.
Yeah.
San Francisco is one of the richest cities on the planet Earth. They have 29 billionaires that live there. And how I know is watching the news, I'm like, damn, they really want to like kick out the culture.
Dude, they're moving even remember those little
spots? It bothers me a little bit,
on San Bruno, they're charged, what is it, million and some homes? Them homes are like 900 square feet, million and a half.
I know.
Teardowns.
I know, and it bothers me because that's such a beautiful place. The culture built that place. If you think about it, it's a city of immigrants. But yeah, going back to what you said, Frisco back there was no joke, and you had to be about it. You had to be ready to fight. You had a nice hat on, and a pack of Samoans came on the 14 mission. You did not know one of them, and the smallest one was always going to get at you. But thankfully, I make friends very easy, and I love to have friends everywhere. I always knew somebody.
Well, I knew some. I remember one time some dudes were trying to bully me, and I knew some friends that went to Galileo.
And dude, way across the city by the wharf, man.
And I remember one time my little Filipino friend's like, man, I'm gonna tell my cousins, and we'll go over there and check those dudes. And sure enough, the dudes from base who were trying to bully me, I told them, and them dudes after that wanted to, hey man, hey Mark, it's cool, man. Boo boo. They broke it all down. Because I brought my homies over there, man. But yeah, it was definitely a different era, man.
Way different.
Yeah.
But it builds character. It
does.
It's almost like they're not going to experience this ever again.
No.
Much different era.
We were that last generation, man, that just like now, and then it's turning over now, and it's totally different. So what can we expect from you in the future, man? I know you're a big Instagram influencer, man, and your car page is off the chains, man. I'm always looking at the cars because, getting ideas for my next build and what I want to do, and just looking at the different, the different aspects of pro touring and resto rods. So, tell little people a little bit about your page and what can we expect from you.
Okay, my page is Mike's Classics and More, and basically what I post is a lot of classic muscle cars, but I do post modern cars. I do like exotics. I come across some exotics that I like in a post. I built my page around my '69 Camaro. I'll rewind a little bit. I got influenced. I went to see him, I think, 2012.
Okay.
For the first time, and I was like, man, these cars are off the chain, man. I love this modern. I love muscle cars. I always wanted a Camaro, '69 Camaro, because I grew up with some dudes, some baller dudes back in my neighborhood that I had them. These guys will pull up at 67, 68 Camaros, nice D-boys, and anyways, so I went to SEMA, and I got influenced, and I told my wife, I'm gonna get one of these cars one day, and I'm gonna build it, I'm gonna have it at SEMA, like vision day, like one day. Fast forward to 2014, I had my '69 Camaro at SEMA, but right before I got my Camaro into SEMA, she built me an Instagram page, because she's really good with social media. I didn't know much about Instagram. I used to have like a Facebook profile years ago, but and then I started posting what I thought people would love, like over the top custom muscle cars, and that gave me ideas as well. Mm-hmm. When I see other people's cars, and it gave me the passion to take my car and take it to the next level, and that's kind of what I've been doing ever since, and I want to keep doing that from here on out with these cars, keep building them. I want to find like out of the country clients, like high dollar clients. Mm-hmm. That's the next level I want to take like my business to.
Okay.
Build one-off, dime pieces for them.
Yeah. Hey man, I love it, man, because like I said, cars, I used to walk around the compound with either a DuPont, a Rob Report, or a Hemmings, and I used to have those always in my. I had a subscription to the Hemmings and DuPont, and then I also Forbes and Fortune and Wired. But I always be like, I look in the Hemmings, I'm like, oh, if I was out, I'd buy this car right here, do this and that. So I feel you on that, man. That's like what fueled me and what pushes my passion, man. So I love the cars too, and just like I said, reaching back to these young people, man, and trying to prepare them for the future. What is something you would tell them if you could tell yourself as a younger version of yourself?
You know what I wish I would have done? Had I known where this passion would have led me, I would have took some kind of automotive course way back then, and I would have learned how to weld.
Welding, I tell people all the time.
Welding is money.
You
can fabricate things.
Yes.
Always.
Yes.
Let me tell you, a robot won't replace a good welder.
Or
fabrication.
No.
Because you could take any kind of metal, you have an idea with it, and you can form things with it. Once you learn how to do metal forming, you learn how to use a wheel.
That's right.
And welding, man, that's where it's at. I would love to sit up here and tell you I could do all that. I can't. I'm not a wrencher. I used to do basic mechanics, change the oil, wheels, tires, brakes, but the stuff that guys do nowadays is amazing.
I would even say wiring.
Wiring,
America's guys, if you could wire up a harness, you could wire up a power window, just anything wiring, like, dude, that's like, you will have a line of people waiting for you.
And people hate wiring. They hate taking on wiring jobs. It's tedious. Very tedious and boring. It's not fun.
And making it look clean.
Making it look clean. And that's what they're doing now. Nowadays, you get these old cars, gut them out, take the old wiring, put the new wiring, all the modern electronics, what I love. I still love the classic look, but modern everything. Computer, modern fuel injection motors.
That's right.
You turnkey, you could drive from LA to the Bay,
wherever you want to go, man.
Yeah.
AC blowing.
That's the best. Yeah. That's what brings me out here once a month. I go to a big car meetups called the Quarantine Cruise out here in Huntington Beach, and I'm out here to help support the event. Push the event on my page and bring out my people from the Bay Area.
Yeah.
and they're passionate as I am.
It's dope because like when he said he was coming out, I'm like, dude, we need to get you on the interview.
Yeah.
And you know, I want to tomorrow we're gonna get some car stuff going on.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
You know, I want to come out here and chop it up with him because it's cool to find somebody else who's taken that passion and turned it into a business and you know use it for something positive because there's so many different things. Like kids ask me, like, man, how do you find a hobby? How do you get into cars? I'm like, dude, as a kid, we were always into bikes, skateboards, cars,
yeah.
you know, race cars, remote
yes.
control,
RC cars.
you
Me
know,
too, yeah.
Oh, there's all kind of like, you know, we weren't in the house. I mean, maybe you might have had somebody might have had Atari or Coleco. You might have played a little bit, but we were outside.
We're outside.
We were all over the place,
We're
man.
outside. That's the beauty. Yes, I had Atari. Yes, I had a Nintendo. I had all that, but I played outside. I love to ride my bike. I'm an outdoorsman. I've always been outdoors. To this day, I'm 45 years old and I still love being outdoors. I still like going for, I'll take my wife and go for car rides. Like, let's go to Monterey, babe. Let's take in the car. Let's go to
We're
Santa
the same
Cruz.
way. Last night we drove, did a big loop down PCH and then walked by Santa Monica and just drove back and looked at the ocean. You know, that's one of the beautiful things, man. It's like, it's relaxing, you know, and you feel at peace. And then, you know, when I'm in my old school, it feels like, man, it's like I'm free, man.
Right?
You know,
You do feel at peace, and you can tell you light up about it. When you talk about it, you light up, you're glowing. And that's good. That's a good thing because all the money in the world, I don't care how much money you have to find something that brings you peace, that makes you happy. And for me, getting in my car, smelling the ocean breeze, taking a drive down PCH. We went to Laguna yesterday.
Yeah, Laguna's
We've
nice.
never been there, so we took a drive down the coast just to see it, you know. Things like that. Try to go get some but everywhere was jam-packed.
I know,
2-hour wait.
Yeah, outdoor eating is
man.
nothing out there.
So yeah, like I just, you know, in the era we're in right now with this BS, with this pandemic, you got to find something that makes you happy.
That's right.
If we're supposed to be, even though on lockdown, I was getting together with my homies and we're going out for cruises. Like, you know what? Let's just meet up, stay in the cars, let's go for drives.
That's right. That's right.
So we keep our mentals on point because that's
And
very
that's cool
important.
you guys started that, man, because it's turned into something awesome. And
Started with 35 cars. I hear these guys started with out here.
It
now
was
it's grown
small.
over 2,500 cars.
I seen the last one you guys did, and I was looking at Instagram like, oh man, where was I at? I missed it.
I wish
You
if
know?
I had known you back then, I would have told you, hey, come through for that one.
Yeah.
But definitely you can't miss tomorrow's. Trust me, it's epic.
I'm there.
It's gonna
I'm
be.
there.
It's gonna be something out of a movie. I feel bad because car shows are gonna be a thing of the past.
I know.
Because we don't know what's going on with this pandemic. We don't
Yeah.
know when they're gonna open things up again.
Exactly. So in your closing words, man, if you could say anything else to the people out there watching this video, what would you want to leave them with?
Find something you're passionate. Stay focused. And there's always the naysayers. The world's a very negative place. Find some positivity. Don't let people crush your dreams. Don't tell them, oh, you're dreaming too big, or why would you do that, or that's silly. Find something you're passionate about and something you love to do. And you could turn your hobby into a living, man, a real good living. Some people, I wish I'd known the game of real estate. Some people love buying broke down homes, gutting them and fixing them up. I have friends that do that too that are really good. I don't know the game. I know the game of cars.
Yeah.
And that's what I love to do. And like I said, I have a salesman background, as you want to say. I earned my PhD on the street. So whatever you got, man, you don't need a fancy degree. Just put your heart and head into it and stay focused. Put your head down and work hard. That's all you can do. The world is endless. We have so much information now at our fingertips.
At our fingertips, yeah.
We have Google. You could just read. Like you said, you read a lot of books, so did I. I read a lot of books. Try to game myself up.
That's right.
Instead of using my time on negative things for nothing. I call it waste of time.
That's right.
Sleeping your time away. Like
Exactly.
that's what people are doing now. They're sleeping their time away. They're waiting for the next thing to happen or some miracle. Like, nah, get out there and get it.
That's right.
Get after it. Don't lay down. Get after it, man. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Don't let fear hold you back. We all have fear.
That's right.
I have fear of heights. So I look down sometimes to conquer my fear.
That's right.
On purpose, to get over that fear. So don't be feared. Don't be scared. Go for it. That's what I say.
Hey, you guys, there you have it, man. Mike, spitting some game for you guys and hopefully inspiring some of you guys to pursue your dreams, your passions, be motivated about life. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Links in the description for his IG. And hey, man, this is Big Herc 916. Fresh out.